247 CEOs left their jobs or lost their jobs February 2025. The highest number since 2002. And this is what the headline does not tell you. Most of them did not see it coming. My name is Philip. I have been a high performance coach working with some of the best leaders across 3 continents and helping them make at least more than $250 million over the last 19 years. This is the series about fireproofing yourself as a CEO, and we're starting with why most CEOs don't see it coming. Just a few facts here. 247 left their roles, okay? And this is the nuance of this. Boards do not fire CEOs the day they decide. No, they fire them on the day they announce it. The decision was made weeks earlier in quiet conversations that you were never in. I want to talk to you today about the real reason CEOs lose their jobs, and the reason why I am so passionate about this is I totally believe in my core, in my soul, that leadership, entrepreneurship, and CEOs leading amazing companies can actually change this world. If you're a great CEO that is doing amazing work and you're producing a great product, you are bound to, if you do it right, you're bound to make a difference in your community using your product and doing the things that other people might not be able to do because you have the privilege of being a leader. Now, the data they never tell you is this. CEOs in the top 3 performance quartiles turned over 12%. Bottom quartile, 14%. Think about that. The gap is 2%, the top and the bottom, 2 percentage points. That means that high performance offers almost no protection anymore. So what is the board actually responding to? Here are the facts. Only 22% of CEOs report receiving effective board support to navigate today's challenges. Only 43% say their board directors have expertise aligned with the company's most pressing issues. Problem number 1, the board has a different mindset, a different way of looking at things, and the CEO in reality is dealing with the same things but from a different perspective. What does that mean in plain English? Your board and you are operating from different maps. When a crisis hits, it always does, the gap becomes the reason why you go. Now, 3 cases that change everything. Okay, and I have to read these because, I need to get the facts right. Case number 1, Luxman, Starbucks, 16 months, then they're gone. Okay, and this guy had real credentials. Okay, he was a McKinsey guy, PepsiCo transformation experience. Every box the selection process cared about was ticked, tuck. But what was the real thing? He had never run operations, and this is where it becomes crucial for board members and people who are hiring to actually relate the person they're bringing in to what is on the ground. Most importantly, if they fit where they are going. You might be, I'll give you a great example. There are certain companies I cannot work with because, number 1, I can't help them if I do not have a clear picture of how they would look like with my intervention in 3, 5, 10 years' time. I just say no because I know I won't be able to help them. So mobile orders were paralyzing stores. This was Starbucks, okay? And wait times had hit 20 minutes. You think about it, you go for coffee for 20 minutes. 2 consecutive quarters of declining comparable scales. Remember, this guy was a McKinsey guy. He had done some PepsiCo transformation. He had his stuff theoretically. But this was the thing that really failed him. He did not fail at strategy. He failed at the gap between the plan and the flow. What the plan was in their head in the boardroom vis-a-vis what was actually on the ground. The gap is where most CEOs lose everything. What they think, what the plan is, and what is on the ground. That was number 1. So I'll give you another example. Ashley Bucknan of Coles terminated for causes in May 2025. It was not poor performance. No. Let me see. It was not a bad quarter, but they were terminated for cause. An undisclosed financial relationship with a vendor. Now, I cannot stand here and judge anybody because you will find after you've been around a long time, everybody has got a blind spot, everybody has got a weakness. And if you don't have great counsel, if you don't have people who can tell you the truth in your face without necessarily sugarcoating it so that they can save you, then you're going to be in problems. There's some people who are not coachable, and that is how they end up in these situations. However, I want to say that whatever happened to Ashley, hey, SHIT happens. Okay, so not poor performance, not a bad quarter. But the board in 2025 is not looking the other way when certain things happen. The era of untouchable CEOs is over. Whether you're the best at something, you're making so much money and the company is thriving, but you don't have the basis of ethics and integrity and being able to hold a certain level of standard, you are not safe anymore. I'll give you a third example. Dave Cullen of Bowen. Okay, the culture he promised to fix was never fixed. What actually happened? When he took over the job in January 2020, his mandate was clear. Fix the safety culture after the 737 MAX disasters. What happens? 4 years later, boom, a door plug blew out on an Alaska Airlines flight mid-air. The Senate put him on the camera. He resigned in August 2025. What killed this? What was the real thing? Boeing was not one bad decision. No, it was 4 years of safety culture that never changed because the systems and the people producing it were never actually confronted. Every event that I hold with any leadership team, I will always hold them at the level of which they say their culture is supposed. What do I mean? Do not turn around and say this is the culture of accountability, of showing up, of hard work, and you coming late for the meeting, and you have 6 unattended to issues, and most importantly, you're not holding yourself accountable. The moment, and after many years, you can tell, I have such the BS antenna that I have, I can sense very quickly, and I will challenge you, say, hey, do not even try to say you want to implement a high performance culture that you're not living, because actually culture is who you are as a leader. So Dave had what he wanted, had the best intentions, but the application in Bowen never happened. That's why he's not in the job anymore. So what killed Boeing was not a bad decision. It was 4 years of safety culture that never changed. You cannot outsource culture transformation. It's impossible. After 19 years, there's only 2 companies where we failed to turn things around, and they were not even companies or government organizations. And the reason why is because you cannot transform culture if the leader is not willing to walk, think, believe the kind of culture that is going to take that organization to the next place. And now I am so much aware of it that I will say no immediately the moment I realize that the leader is not aligned. It's not going to happen. So what boards are actually watching right now and why CEOs are losing jobs are 3 things. Number 1, do they trust your judgment under pressure, not your results in good times? Are you the kind of person they're watching you when there's a crisis? How do you deal with it? Can they trust that should this situation happen again, you're going to be there, you're going to be sharp enough, you're going to step into the gap and make sure that you hold fort very well? Okay. Number 2 is your ability to communicate uncertainty without losing credibility. Why? There is going to be uncertainty. Your job is to be able to go to them and be able to communicate it to the board, to the clients, to your team, to your ecosystem in such a way that you still give them certainty regardless of how bad the situation is. That they're looking for. And if they sense and smell that you don't have that ability, bang, the hammer is coming down on you very quickly. And then finally, number 3, what are they looking for? Whether the story you tell about the business matches what they hear from everyone else. So many a time there's going to be leaders who are, at conferences, and they spend a lot of time out there talking a great game, talking up, showing up sharp and doing what they have to do. But back in their own backyard, things are falling apart. People don't trust them. They're losing their best people. And most importantly, there is no good traction coming out of the company, because guess what? Your greatest marketing tool are the people who work for you. So if they're not inspired, if they're not saying good things about you, just think about what the board is going to be hearing. So if your company is PE backed, this conversation has an additional dimension. What do I mean? Bain and Company research shows that 50% of PE backed CEOs are replaced during the holding period. What is a holding period? About 18 months or so. Okay, and over 70%, including planned transitions. The part that such firms will not tell you is this: your replacement decision is typically made within the first 7 months. Why? 7 months enough to know if you have the ability to execute, if you have the ability to build velocity, if you have the ability to build relationships, if you have the ability to focus on capital generation with the sponsor by month 7. The conversation about your successor has already started before you know it. So average CEO replacement search in a private equity company is 7 months. This is not 7 months of drift. No. This is not 7 months of dilution. No, it's not 7 months of destruction. No. PE firms are not patient enough for capital leadership underperformance. No, they are the most performance accountable boards on the planet. So they will come down hard. And because they are in the business of private equity, they are doing these deals all the time. So they can smell and sense this from far away, and they won't tell you if you don't step up and do what you have to do in terms of, hey, am I living the culture? Am I smart enough to create certainty for everybody? Am I the kind of person who's over communicating in times of crisis? And most importantly, do they trust my judgment? So this is what I got for you today. Quick question. This is what you got to do. And be honest with this. One question for you this week. If your board had a private conversation about you tonight, what would they say, or what would they be concerned about? You're not there and they're doing this. What would they be concerned about? Okay? Not about the numbers, about whether they trust your judgment, about whether the story you are telling and the reality they are seeing are the same thing. If you are not certain of the answer, the uncertainty is your work. Not a consultant, not your CEOs, not your chief of human resource. No, that is yours. Why? Because nothing great was ever achieved by wishing that the board saw things differently. Everything you have to earn, and in doing that, every single quarter matters, every single month matters, every single week matters, and you got to build that up for yourself in such a way that you're not caught unawares when the hammer comes down. Besides, if you're a great leader, why should it ever come down? It shouldn't. And that is the purpose of the CEO bulletproofing yourself in such a way that you're not just a hotcake, but you are sought after because of your ability to not just execute, to build a great team, most importantly, to have the audacity to make a difference in the leadership role that you have. Until next time, if you do want to have a quick conversation about how your culture is going, there is a link at the bottom here. Get in touch. Until then, peace.